Oh, Ant-Man. I've worried. The Marvel movies have all been pretty stinking good. Even the bad Marvel movies have been pretty stinking good so far, but Ant-Man, a movie that is so improbably successful that it even makes fun of itself. I just worried. And that then is what we're here to address. Are my worries founded? Has Marvel finally slipped up? Dark days. I really hate being right sometimes. I really do. I worried with Guardians of the Galaxy that Marvel had beaten the last of the pixie dust out of whatever fairy they've been keeping in their little dungeon to make ordinary movies into good ones. I really worried that they had killed that little source of goodness and happiness with Guardians, and I really think they did. And I was hoping that it would be different. Several of my coworkers came to me having seen this movie earlier and said that it's fun and it's cute and it's a whole lot better than I thought it was going to be, and I will say that it was a whole lot better than I thought it was going to be, which is not difficult to do given how bad I thought it was going to be. But it also needs to be said, this is a mediocre movie and a bad Marvel movie. I'm not even... just to name off a couple of things that make Marvel movies great. First and foremost, the characters. And I'm going to hold Ant-Man up next to Iron Man, the first Iron Man, which I believe is still the quintessential Marvel movie so far, the first one. The original Iron Man had fantastic characters. You cared about them all. You liked them all. You liked Pepper. You liked Jeff Bridges. You liked Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr.'s. There's no point in rambling about that. You liked all the characters. They were easy to get behind, and it felt good. It felt like they had been cast appropriately. Paul Rudd clearly has talent. He has great screen presence, but it's just completely and totally wasted here. He is at no point believable as a hero, or as a thief, or as a convict, or as any of the things that they put him in. At no point is Paul Rudd believable, which is a shame, because it's clear that the man just needs a chance to do something great on the screen, and I hope that somewhere he finds himself a vehicle, not helmed by Judd Apatow, or however the hell you say his name, where Paul Rudd is allowed to explore the greatness that I think is inherent in him, because I really do get a feeling that he could be great, but not here. He's completely and totally fish out of water for most of the movie. Michael Douglas's Hank Pym is just a waste. He's just a waste of time. For as fantastically intelligent as Pym was supposed to have been, you're talking about people that punch on the same weight as the Starks. He's just completely and totally unbelievable. He's more like an eccentric old grandfather that happened to have some crazy-ass invention work. He's just completely and totally unbelievable. The rest of the characters in the movie are utterly unforgettable. with the exception of a cameo from an Avenger that really was what needed a little bit more screen time. He didn't get nearly enough in any of the movies, but it was pleasant to see that, and I won't spoil who that is. The internet's there for a reason, but first and foremost, the characters didn't work at all. Second thing is the script. It would be enough that Robert Downey Jr. was perfect as Tony Stark, but then the script, the writing for Iron Man, the writing for all of the Marvel movies. We will quietly draw a veil over the Incredible Hulk film. The writing has just been spectacular, utterly spectacular, and it's not like they all use the same formulas to achieve success. Obviously, Iron Man was more snark for the Stark, and less seriousness, but serious when it needed to be, as opposed to your Captain America movies, which had, cute little smooth, cool bits of humor amidst the seriousness that was Steve Rogers, and that worked. It all worked. The script for all those movies was fantastic. The story for all those movies was fantastic. It's just so bad in Ant-Man. The humor is poorly timed. None of the serious dialogue that they write is believable, and because the characters have been poorly cast, they couldn't pull it off even if it was. The whole movie just feels awkward. And I think part of the reason why it feels awkward is because whoever thought it would be a bright idea to dump Paul Rudd in the middle of a Marvel movie thought, oh, well, he does well in all of his Judd Apatow movies, so we'll dump a goofy Paul Rudd in the middle of a Marvel movie with his goofy little pack of friends behaving goofy in a Marvel movie. And they're completely and totally remove you, take you out of the whole movie. Whenever Scott is on the screen and the Ant-Man costume looks weak, his little friends serve little to no purpose whatsoever in the movie. They're just, it's like a goofy, retarded little fun bunch that you find in all of those shtick. I've got a serious beef with people who feel the need to be stupid in order to be funny. Or the Marvel movies were smart and funny. Ant-Man was almost an insulting slide backwards. Hugely frustrating because one of the main buddy, Luis, in Ant-Man is played by the excellent Michael Pena, who has done several other things that he was absolutely fantastic again. But he is so stereotypically shoehorned into the role that he occupied, and it's just frustrating. It's just hugely frustrating. The villain is utterly forgettable. He's like an evil Jeff Bezos. He looks like an evil Jeff Bezos. Yeah, it's utterly forgettable. The special effects that they use to shrink Pym are neat, but they never really slow down enough to let you take advantage of those things, excepting the first bathtub scene. After that, everything moves so quickly that you never really... It's like... It's less like a tiny little man moving through our world and more like a regularly sized man moving through a strange world that we've never seen before. And so you lose all of the grandeur of a tiny little Hank Pym, or a Scott Lang, I guess is the name of the new guy. You lose all the grandeur of a tiny little person moving through a great big world. That's just hugely frustrating. The science behind the suit. One of the great things about the Tony Stark Iron Man suits is they never go out of the way to try to explain the suit with science. They talk to you a little bit about the metal. They talk to you a little bit about the suit's composition. They talk to you, they use some great big technobabble words when they're talking about the arc reactor and stuff like that. But they never go out of their way to science Iron Man's technology, and that's great. It really, really is. They kind of go out of their way to science the Ant-Man suit. They really go out of their way to science the Ant-Man suit, and they, at one point they're talking about how important the Ant-Man helmet is, because you can't shrink yourself down to teeny tiny sizes without the Ant-Man helmet being on, or else it does bad things to you. But the rest of the suit is so stinking flimsy, the helmet is so stinking flimsy, you have a hard time believing that it's shielding you from anything. Them trying to explain the science behind the shrinking in Ant-Man, just at the moment you inject that kind of science into a movie, even the most rudimentary intellectual of us will begin trying to apply the science whenever we see something happen on screen, and it just completely takes you out of the whole movie. This is such a weak movie that they couldn't even rustle up an interesting scene after the credits. It was just more Ant-Man stuff. They couldn't even be bothered to throw us a bone about Civil War, or they just couldn't be bothered. It was just a little bit more Ant-Man stuff. This is a cute movie. Kids will like this movie, but it's only a mediocre movie. It's a bad Marvel movie. Yeah, Marvel really kind of screwed the pooch with this. I'm sad that I was right, and I'm even more worried about the Fantastic Four movie. Difference is, I had some people come to me and tell me that Ant-Man was worth going to see, which is why I went and saw Ant-Man. I'm in no way, shape, or form interested in going to see the Fantastic Four movie. But that's a conversation for another time. Yeah, I don't, watch this thing as a rental or whatever, but it's weak. It's very, very weak. I wish I could say more nice things about it. I feel a great swelling of pity for Paul Rudd, because I think he deserves better. But he's just such a fish out of water in this movie. Yeah, I'm retreading old ground here. I didn't enjoy it. I can't advise you to go watch it. Sorry. When the most traumatic thing that happens in this movie is the death of an ant, you're doing it wrong.